speaking of a big bag, right? Charlamagne Tha God signs a 5-year, $200 million
Yes, sir.
deal with iHeartMedia. He wants to fuel the growth of his Black Effect podcast network, in which he
has
hopes
about 17
how many shows? Yeah,
I think about 17 shows, including the Breakfast Club.
and he hopes to become like the BET of podcasting. So you think he got a shot?
I think he has a shot if they do it right, but I'm gonna be honest. I think when people read that, they think, "Oh, Charlamagne Tha God got $200 million."
Okay.
And that's just simply not the
Like
case.
he has access to $200 million.
He might have access to it, but no, I'm saying people think Charlamagne Tha God has $200 million to himself. Because a lot of people was comparing it to Joe Rogan, and that's it's not apples to apples.
Well, so, it is over 5 years, right?
Yeah, but this is divided up in between his network and all these other shows, and also through iHeartMedia, who employs him, right? And then it's all distributed through the whole Netflix thing. We're gonna talk about that, but it's not the same as Joe Rogan getting $200 million to take his show to Spotify.
Okay.
It's not apples to apples. I know the headline sounds similar, but it's a little different. Charlamagne Tha God, like Joe Rogan, is not trying to be the next Complex, the next BET. He's just Joe Rogan, right? Charlamagne is trying to be the next BET, which means he's not really trying to. He's not really like Joe is all about empowering himself.
Yeah,
his show is all about him. Charlamagne platform is about empowering his other podcasts. Yeah. So this $200 million is not just Charlamagne.
That makes
him
sense.
And his 16, 17 slate of shows.
With iHeartMedia.
That's why he's saying I'm trying to become the next BET. BET was not about the owners of BET. It was about giving a platform for all the other creators in the shows like 106 Park and things like that. So shout out to Charlamagne. I really don't like the move to take the video podcasting and only put it behind a paywall through Netflix. That's the only part I don't like. I do not like that. Joe Rogan tried to do it with Spotify. The first few years, they took it off YouTube because he used to only primarily do YouTube, and then he had the audio on Spotify. And then they put it on Spotify, and Joe Rogan is the biggest podcast in the world, by the way.
Didn't know that.
They put it, he's the biggest podcast in the world. They put it on Spotify, and then eventually they start putting the clips back on YouTube. Now I don't know if they're going to allow clips.
I was gonna say if they're smart.
I don't think they are. I think they're just going to do video podcasts on Netflix.
I don't know I don't think that would be a smart move. Now I understand that Netflix is trying to build their podcasting, which I think is a smart move for them. Yeah. Netflix getting into podcasting. Just a different branch of media, because what Netflix did to Blockbuster, Netflix could possibly do to YouTube. And for podcasting, but I don't know if it's a situation where you want to get rid of free streaming in general.
So here's the problem I think they're going to run into is all of their content is an evergreen. Netflix is very good for evergreen content. YouTube is good for trending content and trendy content and evergreen. What I mean by evergreen is an interview with Michelle Obama,
right?
An interview with Barack Obama, an interview with LeBron James, interview with you see what I'm saying?
Or like a halftime show. I remember I was watching like the Michael Jackson halftime show.
A performance, stuff like that. But when you think about YouTube, it's good for like breaking news, trending topics.
Yes.
Stuff that might trend and go viral for the first 2-3 weeks, and then it just kind of dies out. So I think the virality of the Breakfast Club is going to get taken away because they do news. Yeah. They talk about news most of the time. And a lot of their show is like 2-3 hours long. It's not just like no short show.
The clips. But also to your point about the value being in the viral moments, right?
Correct.
Everybody has, and they even did like a compilation of like different viral moments that happened on the Breakfast Club. Yeah. And so for this deal to take away like that like quality is very niche for them. they need the Ray J's to come on, and they need the Soulja Boys to come on, and they need those, and they need you to see it when it happens.
If the Soulja Boy Drake, if that would have been on Netflix, it wouldn't have went as viral because for one, you gotta go click on and sign into Netflix.
Yeah.
With YouTube, it just gets served to you because it's right on social media. Mm-hmm. So
well, Netflix got plenty of money, so I don't see why they wouldn't just pay YouTube to like do commercials where it's like Drake, you know what I'm saying, to actually do the clips but commercial form, like do it on paid advertising.
But then now that's an expense for Netflix. They don't want that, right? And then that's a competition for YouTube. YouTube is building up the competition, so YouTube has the power to say, actually, no.
Or take their money and not do what they supposed to do.
Exactly. Hurt their reach. It's a lot that goes into that. So I like the virality of...
Yeah, I can see that.
But if they do this, I think it makes sense. If they do the clips of the breaking news, like the latest with Lauren LaRosa, that's something I want to hear right now.
Yeah.
I want to hear that on YouTube, on Twitter, on her Instagram right then.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go on Netflix to watch that.
Yeah.
And I want to see the little 7-minute segment of the donkey of the day or whatever.
Right.
I'm not about to watch no whole Netflix video for that. And they do this every single morning. So eventually it's going to get like clogged up. Like, damn, like, you see what I'm saying? Netflix is really good for stuff that has staying power. A lot of the stuff the Breakfast Club talk about, because it's media and it's news, is not going to have staying power. It's not going to be relevant in 2 weeks.
That's true.
Remember,
they kind of need
the virality and the clips,
the social media,
like the Gucci interview that just went viral when his wife Keisha Kaur just started talking,
and it went everywhere. That was on Instagram. That was on X. That was everywhere. Yes. And then they had thought pieces about it, so it kind of kept it going. Yes. So I think that keeping that component is important.
But then think about corporatizing it. Once you on Netflix,
you can't just say whatever you want.
See,
you
YouTube is kind of the wild west a little bit. Once you get on Netflix, it started to get corporate-y, like even the Pop the Balloon show.
Yeah.
I'm so glad the Pop the Balloon show kept their stuff on Netflix and basically sold the naming and rights to Netflix to let them do it. Because the way they did it on Netflix, that shit was horrible.
Yeah, I went to watch. People didn't like it.
I went to watch it. It was a bunch of C-list, D-list actors on there. All of them was from Hollywood. All of them had veneers. All of them had BBLs. All of them had perfect skin. I'm like, this is not how.
Pop the balloon.
Pop the balloon. You got a dude on there with a wrinkled shirt, his teeth fucked up, his hat to the side, and he said, "You need to be Beyonce, or I ain't fucking with you." That's why it goes viral.
To the point where people were like even questioning, where do you get these people?
Right. That's what makes it a good show. But when it look like everybody's vetted, everybody has an image, everybody has these corny jokes.
Yeah.
It didn't work. So I'm rooting for Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club. Obviously, it's.
Would you watch the Breakfast Club on Netflix?
I will watch interviews of.
That's what I was gonna say.
Club, not the whole Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the problem. If they just say, okay, we're putting all our interviews on
Netflix, I would do it too.
That's a hybrid situation.
But the news, I want to see it now.
I want to see that now.
Yeah, I want to see, and then I want to see your different takes on things. I want to see because all of those things are current.
Exactly.
And so they're not only interview; they're also current events.
Right. Now, if they say all of our interviews
are going to be on Netflix,
yeah, then I would watch that.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'll just go on there and just get a backlog of just all the famous interviews or whatever that they're doing. And if I see somebody, Kevin Hart, or somebody that I want to watch, I'll go to Netflix and watch that. But the way I think about Netflix and the way I think about YouTube, even though they are video streaming platforms, they are two totally different platforms. When I think of, it's kind of like thinking about McDonald's and the Cheesecake Factory, or McDonald's and PF Chang's, McDonald's and like the Breakfast Club gives you McDonald's. Yes. They give you news every day that
are relevant to their audience, relevant to the culture.
But on your anniversary, you don't go to McDonald's.
No,
you go to PF Chang's.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You go sit down somewhere with the lights dim, whatever. I think there's room for both. But I
wonder if Netflix is planning a pivot though too. Like imagine Netflix becomes like almost like a social media. Do you remember when YouTube was not really like YouTube was straight just video content, fights, like whatever you wanted, right? Yeah. But now you can go on YouTube with your account and you could do hair videos or you could do like you can engage with your audience and stuff like that. So imagine Netflix is planning to be like a little YouTube. But you already paid for it.
But the problem is, it's a certain type of quality.
You can put your little Tubi video on there.
It's a certain type of quality that is associated with Netflix, and it's a certain type of quality that you expect on YouTube.
You expect grit on YouTube. I want it dirty. I want it raw.
Exactly, but
I want some champagne on Netflix. Yeah,
there's a certain level that you expect because you are paying.
That's true.
So when I'm paying, I expect the top dollar. But when I'm just on YouTube and you're serving me ads or whatever, when you monetize it, I don't expect that. So
that's true.
Shout out to Charlamagne and the Black Effect Podcast. But
right.
I have some questions on the execution of the Netflix. But we're going to see because they starting out in January.
I was going to say, we'll see.
Yeah, they starting out in January. And it's a lot of other shit going on in January.